Welcome to Marketplace Conversations. Dr. Maja here. We are continuing with our conversation entitled, What is Faith? So the third definition of faith is that faith means having your mind stayed on God. Isaiah 26 verse 3, it says, you will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts you. Sometimes when you go through life problems or when our needs or the needs that we basically have are not met, we tend to change our focus from God to those particular kinds of needs. So we end up panicking, like we have the COVID-19 and coronavirus, which is wreaking havoc, which is basically threatening our health. Sometimes we can take our eyes from God and begin to focus on the problem that is around us. But faith basically means having our eyes stayed on God. Let me just explain a few things about human needs in a bid for you to understand that most of the times when these needs are not met, most people lose their faith. There's a gentleman called Abraham Maslow. After studying human behavior, he concluded that human beings are driven by the following basic hierarchy of needs. So mankind has a couple of needs that drive them. Firstly, we have what are called physiological needs, which are basically air, water, food, clothes, and sleep. When these are threatened, most of the times it also threatens our faith. Secondly, mankind has safety needs like shelter, employment, safety from danger or harm. When these are threatened, there is a high possibility that people will lose their faith and confidence in God. Again, number 3, you realize that mankind has social needs like love, affection, and belonging. When this is threatened, mankind has a capacity to lack faith in God or lose their faith in God. And then number 4, you notice that humankind has self-esteem needs like self-respect, self-confidence, personal worth, and recognition. Again, when these are not met, they have a potential of impacting our faith in God. And then number 5, you notice that mankind has self-actualization needs, which basically speaks to maximizing potential. These priorities drive the human need for survival. Religions have been built around meeting these particular kinds of needs, and most of the times prayers are even couched around meeting some of these needs. And more often than not, when these needs are not met, people's faith and confidence in God tend to wane. So it is easy for you to allow your mind to wander into depression and frustration and panic and lose your faith in God whenever these particular needs are met. But here we are learning that when you trust God, you keep your mind stayed or focused on God, focused on his word. Hebrews says this thing very nicely, says looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. So our faith or trust in God should begin and end with Jesus. We should keep focused on him irrespective of what is happening around us. I mean, a story is told about Peter who saw Jesus walking on water and he asks to join Jesus. Jesus tells him to come, and Peter jumps into that particular water and he starts walking and he starts walking and he starts walking, and as he was walking, he walked perfectly fine until a time when he began to look around himself and he saw the raging winds coming. That's the time that he began to sink. But the moment he looks again at Jesus, the moment he focuses again on Jesus, the moment his mind is stayed on Jesus, he starts walking on water again. So keeping your mind stayed on God keeps your mind in perfect peace. You know that God has your back, God has your front, God has your side. So there is no need for backup. So I can rest easy, I can rest assured that God is able to take care of my needs. So my mind will be focused on God. So I challenge you that despite what you are going through, despite what you are lacking in your life, let your mind be focused on God. What does God's word say about my circumstances? What does God say about my situation? What does God say about my circumstances? That's what is important, and that's what develops your faith. God bless you. We continue with this conversation tomorrow.